Good. Make sure we good. Okay. Yeah. I know I was lagging around. What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, yeah, we good. We good. Everybody, welcome to the Lineage Podcast, man. Y'all know what time it is. It's Thursday. Grateful Thursday. Thankful Thursday. We are here. We appreciate everybody being here. People logging in already. I like to see that. This is the Lineage Podcast. Um, I'm your co-host Marvin Reese Jr. and my co-host here, Alan Reese Sr. here. It's gonna be a lovely show today, man. You know, we've been having some great guests, man, and
Yeah,
today is real special, man. This the history go back. We before we knew ourselves, we knew each other pretty much.
that's right. Because our
That's
parents knew each other, and then
yeah,
they
our parents, grandparents, that thing go all the way back, man.
100 years almost.
You know what I'm saying? and so yeah, we got a special guest, man, and I ain't gonna introduce you. I ain't gonna read nothing about it, but y'all see what we got on, so y'all already know what time it is. Y'all already know put two and two together. Y'all know how this thing gonna rock today. But this is the Lineage Podcast. We appreciate y'all being on. We got a great show today. But y'all already know what time it is. Y'all already know how we begin the show. A lot of the times in our community, man, we don't take our health as serious as we need to. So we got none other than the first nurse, Kimberly Reese, coming on to tell us and to help us and guide us into the right direction when it comes to our health. And we have to take that serious. So we will be back in 30 seconds. Y'all know how I do. When I say 30 seconds, it's really 30 seconds. We'll be back in 30 seconds with the first nurse, Kimberly Reese, with the health segment. We'll be right back. We are back. We are back. We are back. We are back with the first nurse, Kimberly Reese. You already know what time it is.
What's up, MJ?
What's going on? We've been really covering things. You know, last month was Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so you really went from the rooter to the tutor with that. Y'all see what we talking about today? So, like every week, I'm gonna shut my mouth and let first nurse go ahead and do her thing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my health tip segment. We are coming in the celebration of the holidays. So, as you guys know, we're going to be having a lot of potlucks, gatherings. That's going to include cakes, pies, pastries, all kind of goodies. So, what perfect time is it to talk about diabetes? I hate to ruin it for y'all, but um, November is Diabetes Awareness Month. So I felt like this would be a good time to open up the discussion of diabetes and talk about diabetes. So we're going to ask the question, what is diabetes? Diabetes is a chronic condition of too much sugar in your bloodstream. As you see the photo right there that represents the white blocks represents blood sugar, the sugar in your blood. And to sum it up, it's too much sugar in your bloodstream. There are different types of diabetes. Today, I'm going to discuss three of them. You have type 1. Type 1 is when the body does not make insulin or it makes too little insulin. It's an autoimmune disease. It's when the immune system attacks and destroys the cells in your pancreas. Type 1 is usually when it's diagnosed with when you're very young. It's childhood onset. These people have to take insulin to survive and to stay alive. Type 2, that's usually adult onset. It's the most common type of diabetes, and it's when it results when you're eating too much uh, carbohydrates, such as your candy, your honey buns, your pies, even rice and pasta. A lot of people don't realize that rice and pasta, it can raise your blood sugar as well. Most people think of sweets like chocolate bars and stuff, but rice and pasta, too much of that can also raise your blood sugar. This type of diabetes is mainly it happens in middle age, but researchers shows that more younger kids are getting this type of diabetes due to obesity and not working out and playing video games and just watching too much TV. Then you have gestational diabetes. This gestational diabetes occurs when a woman is pregnant. Her body does not break down glucose, blood sugar. Glucose is the medical term of sugar. Sugar, pretty much that's what it is. Gestational diabetes usually goes away after she has the baby, but it's a precursor of type 2 diabetes. So if a woman has gestational diabetes, most likely if she does not lose weight, diet, or exercise, she can get type 2 diabetes later on in life. So today I'm going to talk more in depth in type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, again, is the most common diabetes that one has, well, that most people are diagnosed with. Um, Again, children are getting type 2 diabetes at younger age, again, because they're not going outside how we used to do back in the day. They're not playing, running. They're on the video games, on their iPads, and they're seeing kids being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and that comes from bad eating habits. The symptoms of type 2 diabetes are increased thirst, frequent urination, increased hunger, fatigue, blurred vision, slow healing sores, frequent infections such as UTIs, also a sudden weight gain or weight drop, tingling in hands or feet. So those are the symptoms of diabetes. Diabetes can cause many harmful things to your body. They can cause stroke, heart attack, peripheral artery disease, cataracts in your eyes, kidney problems, diabetic foot ulcers, dementia, sleep apnea, hearing impairment. The list can go on and on. There are several ways to be diagnosed with diabetes. There are three important tests. The first one is the A1C. The A1C measures your average blood glucose for the past 2 to 3 months, mainly 3 months. If your A1C is greater than 6.5%, you are considered a diabetic. Normal A1C is 5.7. Pre-diabetes is 5.7 to 6.4. But you are considered a diabetic if your A1C is 6.5. And again, this particular test you have blood drawn and it measures your blood sugar for 3 months back. So that's that's like the gold standard of diagnosing someone with diabetes, the A1C test. And next you have your fasting plasma glucose test. That's the test that you go to the doctor, they draw blood, and it's a fasting. Fasting means that you don't have anything to drink or eat other than water for at least 8 hours before they take this blood test. Normal is 100. That's normal. Pre-diabetes is 100 to 125. And if you take this test and it's 126 and above, you are considered to be a diabetic. Again, they usually take this early in the morning. That's the best time to do this test without eating anything to have anything to eat or drink for at least 8 hours. Next, you have the oral glucose tolerance test. That's the test 2 hours. It's a 2 hour test that checks your blood glucose level before and 2 hours after you drink a special sweet drink. Normal levels are 140 and less. Pre-diabetes is 140 to 199, and you are considered a diabetic if it's 200 and above. And next, you have a random test. A random test is when the doctor or the nurse, whoever, draws your blood and they randomly check it. Anytime your blood sugar is 200 or above, whether you ate or whether you're fasting, and it's 200 or above, you are a diabetic. You're considered to be a diabetic. So those are the three important tests. Again, the A1C, the fasting plasma glucose test, and then you have your random test. Now I want to talk about how to prevent diabetes. Researchers shows that you can lower your risk for type 2 diabetes 58% by simply losing weight, losing 7% of your body weight. even losing 10 to 15 pounds can make a huge difference. So losing weight definitely makes a big difference in preventing diabetes. Again, exercising moderately, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you can prevent your chances of getting diabetes. Next, avoiding junk foods high in carbohydrates, such as sweets, including cookies, cakes, candy, sodas, bread, chips, pasta, rice. Again, a lot of people don't think about pasta and rice. If you eat too much rice or pasta, that can raise your blood sugar as well. Um, Let your primary beverage of choice of drinking be water. Besides drinking like Kool-Aid, soda, alcohol. Those are sneaky calories, and it can raise your blood sugar. So if you drink mainly water with your meals, that can prevent you from getting diabetes as well. A lot of people just think of eating, but sweet drinks causes diabetes. If you are diabetic, knowing your blood glucose levels and numbers are vital to your health. You must know your levels. So that means that you should check it very often. If you don't know your numbers, how are you going to treat yourself? So do it as prescribed by the physicians. Check your blood sugars in the morning, before and after you eat meals. That way you can keep up with a trend and monitor your blood sugars. Also, you can go to your local CVS and Walgreens. Remember, they have monitors you can use to check your blood sugars as well. Even if you're a pre-diabetic and you want to know your blood sugars, it's okay to go ahead and start being proactive instead of reactive and checking your blood sugars. Um, Again, if you're a pre-diabetic, you can reverse your condition by dieting and exercising. They also have teas, blood sugar controller, such as a tea is called blood sugar controller. You also have ginger teas. It's a tea also called sugar levels. If you're a pre-diabetic, you can take these as a measure to regulate your blood sugar. Now, I don't recommend you taking them in replacing of your insulin. But if you're trying to diet and exercise, these can be, if it works well with your body. And first, make sure you're approved by your healthcare physician. These teas can help you as a pre-diabetic. And that's all I have for you. And that's my health tip. Thank you.
Once again, we appreciate it. First Nurse Kimberly Reese, y'all please take all the information, take it to heed, and really take this health thing serious, man. Like diabetes is really one of the things that really is detrimental to our community as Black people. So get your exercise in, drink your water, and do all that good stuff. We appreciate you, Kim. Now we will be right back after this message. And we will be introducing our guest of today's show. I don't even want to give his name out, so we'll be right back. Appreciate you, Kim.
All right, no problem. Take care.
All right. All right.
In January the 22nd, I guess the Lord had me in the right place, the right time, with the right commitment. I was president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And then we had agreed that, and I persuaded teachers for the first time to engage in a teachers' march. And so we agreed, after they signed their names to a petition, that we were going to march as a teacher group. And so on January 22nd, we met at Clark Elementary School here, which was the school where I attended the first grade through the sixth grade. We met upstairs, and we marched up a file. My partner was my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade science teacher. His name was Mr. A.J. Durgan. He was the incoming president of the Selma City Teachers Association. And we led that march, teachers, for the first time in the United States, coming down the steps of Clark Elementary School, down Lawn Street, down to Alabama Avenue, down to the courthouse. Teachers, for the first time. Getting down to the county courthouse, that was standing next to the steps, the superintendent of education, the chairman of the board of education, to persuade me, because I was a teacher, to take the teachers back to the school, because we had made a point, and that no longer should we try to pursue that right from that particular point. And I told him we had a right to be at the county courthouse. It was our courthouse. We were not backing down from our right to be there. And I asked the superintendent and the chairman of the board who signed my check to step aside. We went up those steps. Jim Clark had his deputies across the door, and he indicated that we were trying to make a mockery out of his courthouse. And we indicated to him that that was our courthouse also. He gave us 1 minute to move off of those steps. At the expiration of that minute, he took the billy club and jabbed us down the steps on the sidewalk. And my partner, Mr. A.J. Durgan, who, as I said, was my teacher, he was not quite used to that stuff like I was. And he asked me on the ground, he said, "What shall we do?" I said, "We are going back." He said, Yeah. And so we went back the second time. We jabbed down the steps after a minute, and he asked me the same question. I gave him the same answer, and he gave me the same response. The third time, when I really was trying to get all the teachers arrested, because teachers were not aware of the tremendous influence. They were the largest black professional group here in Dallas County. And so after going back the third time, he said, "If you don't go up these steps, Jim Clark," said, "we're going to arrest you." I said to myself, "Exactly what I want you to do." And so after about 45 seconds, before that minute expired, someone on the inside of the courthouse came and pulled him on the inside of the courthouse door and said, I didn't go in there with him, but I can imagine what they told him. For goodness sake, don't arrest those teachers.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love to hear that when Granddaddy speak about the Teachers March.
That's right.
The reason go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's very important right there.
Yeah, it's very important, and the reason why I played that, our special guest is connected to that. His grandfather was actually in that Teachers March. Let me get the preliminaries out of the way. His name is Justin Perkins. Y'all already knew. Justin Perkins, son of Selma, Alabama, first black mayor James Perkins Jr. We got to get that out.
That's right.
Got to get that out. James Perkins Jr. And lifetime grandson and student of the late great civil rights leader, Reverend Dr. Frederick D. Reese. He's a political activist, philosophical, critical thinker, influencer, music, fashion, and entrepreneur. A native of Selma, Alabama, graduated from Selma High School class of 2005. Attained his bachelor's in business from Alabama A&M University in 2009. Holds a Master of Information Engineering degree from University of Alabama, Birmingham, 2015. Justin created his clothing apparel, Blessed. Y'all see what time it is?
I see it.
Blessed Wear, having released 2 rap solo projects, Pure Perk in 2015 and Old Soul Young Man in 2016. J Perk on all streaming platforms. Justin describes this season of enjoying family and fatherhood as the greatest time of his life. Now let me show this right quick. I got to show this before I bring him on. I want y'all to see this picture right quick. You see this, you see Reverend Dr. F.D. Reese, right? See this arrow I got pointing over here? This is Justin's grandfather. Now, this is, if I'm not mistaken, that's when they was breaking ground for Ebenezer, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Breaking ground for Ebenezer that day. And if you knew FD, not too far behind him.
Always, Mr. Perkins.
Not too far behind him was a great. Hey, so it this is very special. Let me go ahead and bring him in with the Lineage Podcast family, friends, haters, everybody. Let's welcome none other than Justin Perkins to the show, man. It's good to have you, brother. You already know.
I'm glad to be here. Good to
Yes,
see y'all.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You see, we rocking the Blessed Wear.
I see y'all, man, and you know, I almost I almost didn't have the right one to put on. I'm glad I did, because y'all boys would have made me look bad today, man. Yeah, y'all look good. I appreciate that. You look
Hey,
good.
not a problem. You already know. Man, I can ask you a million questions, man. Hey, first of all, I ain't want to embarrass us. I was looking for a picture, man. We was on the front row on the Messiah.
Oh boy, I'm glad you ain't share that one.
Y'all lucky I didn't find that picture. Y'all lucky I didn't find that picture. We was all little boys on the front row of the Messiah. But like I said, man, this it goes back years, man, and it's just great to connect the dots, pretty much, man.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see in your background, you got your father and you got granddaddy back there. I'll just let you kind of go off the wind. Because I know you had a personal relationship with granddaddy. First question, how was it? I guess being under the leadership of FD, man. Then you can go into your granddad and your father, man. It's just how like just expound on that a little bit, man, for us.
Wow. I was just listening to the segment of Reverend Reese. He was walking down that experience, marching up to the courthouse, and as I was listening to it, I was playing it back all the times I've heard that encounter, growing up, and he always told the story the exact same way.
That's right.
Word for word, every single time. And that just shows you how real, it just brought a realness to it. And it just kind of brought a truth to it where, he really lived it. When he say, he'll give you little details like, as we laid on the ground, I looked over at my partner, Mr. Durgan, and he asked me, what we gonna do while we laying on the ground? I can visualize those moments. And your grandfather, one of the greatest leaders, not just our community of Selma, but that this nation and this world has ever had the pleasure of sharing. And you don't understand the magnitude as a child of the groundwork that was laid before you, but all you knew is that you were being reared and raised with that same level of discipline, that same level of structure and organization, that same level of seriousness. You just a child growing up, and Reverend Reese don't play.
That's right.
When you show up, you gotta have your pants pulled up. You gotta have your button down on. Reverend Reese really showed us how to carry ourselves as just young Black boys growing to men. I never saw him in a t-shirt and basketball shorts, and Reverend Reese would show up to the church picnic in a three-piece suit. Like that was just his standard, and he lived his life, and he, at the same way, he operated that movement to a standard.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think made them so powerful is and there's a lot of what we're lacking in what we're seeing today, is that they unified, and then they organized, and then they moved according to the plan that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't matter what happened, they stuck to the plan.
That's right.
They didn't know if they were going to be received or beaten or what to really necessarily expect, but they knew what they were trying to achieve for our people, and they set a plan, they stuck to it, regardless of the possibilities of what could happen. And so, it's a lot to be learned from your grandfather and how he moved, even with his relationship with my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
So there was never a big shot relationship.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't, we get caught up in everybody want to get the credit and get the attention, Everybody wants to play their part and do the Dennis Rodman type work, you know, the dirty work. Everybody wants to be sitting on the podium, you know.
Right.
And something that I learned about Reverend Reese as a true leader, a real leader don't even want the spotlight like that.
Right.
A real leader understands what comes with being out front. You taking the hits. You target. You the big target, you know.
Right.
And so any real leader gonna move in a manner of humility because he understands, you know, the weight that carries. It's only a fool will be happy-go-lucky. Hey, I'm a leader. No,
right.
You're not ready.
You want that attention. You want that attention.
You're not ready to be a leader. No, you lusting for the attention, like you said, Alan. But you know, a real leader can sit beside the man and support him, you know, and be there for him and be loyal to him. Don't betray him, you know. Stick with him, you know. And
well, you and your grandfather and my grandfather, they embodied what we would call not having egos.
No egos.
And that's why they were successful in the things that they did, because it wasn't in the egos. It was about how can we do this together, and it was about finishing the task in front of us, and it wasn't the egos, man, and that's what they had that we're missing today.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
We're gonna let me fast forward a little bit because we're gonna get into all the hot topics and all of that. But let me fast forward a little bit. How because our grandfather, just to give a little insight, when your father won mayor in 2000, first black mayor, I want y'all to understand what's going on here. First black mayor of Selma, Alabama. Granddad was his campaign manager. Do you remember that day and what kind of feeling?
Well, I'm gonna take you even further back in the history before I answer that question.
Yeah,
because
go ahead, bro.
That is, your grandfather was one of the first black men to attempt to even run for mayor in the city.
Right.
That's right.
And my father was his then campaign manager.
That's right.
And so
hold on. I'm gonna go. I gotta take you further back.
Give it to me, Reese.
When F.D. Reese ran for city councilman, your granddaddy was his campaign manager. Ooh, but that's some history, right?
Been carrying this load and standing in this gap for the people for generations, and that's lightly our voice. It's definitely. I remember that day like it was yesterday. To this day, I still have not seen that level of jubilation in our community.
Facts.
You described to you remember, you know where you were the day Obama became the first black president of the United States. And I'm pretty sure wherever you were, people would celebrate, standing on cars, tables. And it was just like, that was the first time I've ever seen that type of explosion was in 2000, you know, on that level in Selma.
That's right.
And I didn't, you know, it was a normal day for us, you know. We went to school, come home, and when you get home, you got Jet Magazine, Ebony Magazine, you know, CNN, and that's when I'm like, what's going on? You know, what's really going on? You know, what have we really done? Because, you know, we had been working since 1992. That was the first time that my dad attempted to run. You know, I'm 6 years old at that time, at the first time. And then, you know, 96, we ran and had contested it for voter fraud and all of those things that were going on. They had dead people voting absentee. And then we come back around in 2000 and the people organizing was successful. But that was a special time. It really was a special time. We'll never see that again, see that lights again. It was crazy to see that type of jubilation, and then see once all the smoke clears and all the dust settles, how distracted and discombobulated we become, The same
Mhm.
mayor that we celebrated and worked and fought to get down there to move on behalf of our people. Once he got down there, our people didn't appreciate him. You know, the way that they did when they lacked and we needed it. It was a void for the service that he was offering and the sacrifice he was offering to make.
Right.
And so, you know, that's what you know, that's what I remember about it, you know, in general, you know.
Right.
I remember having to that night having to sleep in Prattville, Alabama. You know,
Right.
Pop sent the wife and the kids to Prattville because everybody wasn't happy.
Mhm.
And this guy now first black male.
Remember that.
And you know, I remember nights where there were, you know, police lights shining through the house and sheriff lights. And, you know, they circling out in the parking lot at the house, just intimidation tactics, you know.
Right.
And I just remember little moments like that growing up, you know, phones ringing all time of night, hanging up, you know, and those type of things. And you look back on it, you know, I'm looking back on it, I'm like, man, Pops was probably getting all kind of death threats and everything.
Sure he
But
was.
he shielded us from a lot of that. And yeah, so, but yeah, man, oh man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be forever stamped
That's
in
right.
history, man. Forever stamped. When we dead and gone, long dead and gone, generations and generations after.
And think about what he just said. People always talk about what's so long ago. This
Mhm.
young man is expressing some of the same things, some of the same tactics that they were doing in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the sheriff coming by the house, the hang-ups from on phone calls. Those are some of the white supremacy tactics that they use to bring about fear. That happened in today's time.
Right.
You know, and so when people always talk about those things were long ago, no, it's still happening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a point that I just wanted to kind of, you know, express my feelings on.
Well, that's a great segue, Reese, because you know when you look at what's going on, everybody talking about the Kanye West situation, and then you got Kyrie catching heat right now. All of those are tactics that were used to oppress us even since slavery time. You know, they will always figure out a way to extract the one that's the leader, the strongest, the one that's most vocal, whether he, you know, the one that's creating the most resistance and attempt to make an example of him so that the rest of the masses, oh, okay, I don't want that to happen to me. I'm not going to speak out on that. You know, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to lose my endorsements, you know, and but it's different today. You know, when our grandfathers were out here fighting for liberties and our rights, you know, they were so busy trying to just get the fundamental liberties and freedoms that they saw everyone else had, that really couldn't get to the source of what it was. We were so busy really tackling those symptoms, and that was necessary. That was a necessary building block for us to be able to get to where we are today. But you know,
I think we supposed to get to the source.
we supposed to get to that's our job.
That's our generation, and we have done a piss poor job at it.
Absolutely.
That's just real talk. And we haven't done a good job. You know, our grandfather now, you know, anybody can play Monday morning quarterback out of any game, Roll Tide, Alabama State, Alabama A&M. I don't care who the team. We can always say, well, we shoulda, coulda, woulda. But what are you doing today? It's just like some people say, you know, if they was a slave, that they would jump ship. But you won't even jump ship at your job for what is right. You get what I'm saying? You still do your same job and deal with the same mean supervisor, and you won't jump ship in today's time, but you would have jumped in a body of water. No. It's easy to sit there in your luxury, what you have now, and speak on the past. You get what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
and that's where Black people today, we really do a piss poor job, man. And like I say, we're never on code. You know, and I told my brother this, and I know he's gonna fast forward this, but we're gonna talk about it a little bit. You know, regardless if you agree with Kanye West or not, we spend our time concentrated on what they're doing to Kanye West, and we don't look at what we as a people of the blueprint those people giving us on how you should be on code. They didn't march. They didn't put no signs out. They didn't go to the voting poll. You saw them exile a person because of their professional and monetary power. They exiled a person off going against them and saying something about them. Now, who out of the whole world need to be on code like that?
We do. Our community.
Our community, bro.
Our community. And one of those things, Reese, is we get so caught up on nitpicking. Oh, I don't like what he said. I don't like this thing he said. I don't like that's what was said. I don't like Mel Perkins said this or Perk said that. I don't like how he said this, and then we get caught up on the trivial stuff, and we miss the overall strategy and objective of what it is that we need to achieve. To discredit, Kanye or anybody that's pushing for unity and emancipation for our people, to discredit it because you say you don't agree with a thing that he may have said. Well, think about that. My children don't say everything that I like to hear them say, even to me at times, but that doesn't define how I love them, how I correct them in love. I don't agree with everything that I do and say. Sometimes we have to go back to the Lord and say, I shouldn't have did that. I'm sorry.
Right.
That's even for me. So it's unrealistic and unpractical for me to hold that standard on any man. I don't agree with everything anybody says or does, but that doesn't take away and discredit the objective of what we're trying to.
And to kind of piggyback on that, because I go back and forth with Ye, and now I will say I 100% agree with everything he says. Everything he done said, I 100% agree with. But I think the difference with our generation and when our grandfathers was walking, they didn't agree on everything behind closed doors. We know that, right? But they always made the main thing the main thing. So when they came out in the public, the main thing was the main thing. What I wish us as my brothers and sisters can do in this generation is let's not fight about if we agree or disagree with what Kanye said 5 years ago, 2 years ago. Oh, well, we don't like that he has a white wife and all of that. Let's stop bickering on that. Let's look at the bigger picture. Is he right about what he's saying? Yes. What we gonna do about it? See, what happens is we'll sit there and we'll argue over the Skittles, and that'll divide us right there. Instead of saying, "Hey, we see what code they on. Why we can't take that same code? Because we too busy arguing over the Skittles."
I think I'm gonna go a little deeper than this.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say this. I think what Kanye West says, for Black people, that's not our fight right now. We can't agree on nothing. See, one thing that we do, we're gossipers by nature. What we're doing right now in the Black community with Ye and what's going on with Kyrie, we gossiping. We're not building anything that builds any structure of a defense for Black people. We're gossiping. We get on these different shows, whatever show Kanye West was on when he said it. We get on these different shows, we take our drinks and we talk. but we have so many egos. See what power would have been, Justin. This how power worked. If Kanye West really wanted to make a difference, he could have pulled Jay-Z in the room. He could have pulled Tyler Perry in the room. He could have pulled Oprah, Michael Jordan. He could have pulled them all in the room. See, sometimes behind the door, behind the wall, without a camera, without a mic, without any attention on you, brings the most power, bro. See, when we talking, we talk about the FD Reach tour, this and that, but some of the things we're really working on, we don't get on here and talk about it. It holds no power when you allow your enemy to know what you're doing. And see, when you talking too much, you just blowing smoke. And then you put your people in a place to gossip. This is why FD and them met behind closed doors before they went to the people. They already had the plan in attack ready. Before they went to the people, before the people knew what they was going to do. They just knew the people was going to follow. The people was going to be on code. Black folks ain't on code, bro. See, like I said, I go back to my point where he could have brought all those billionaires in the room and said, look, I see an issue in our community where we cannot have a alliance of power. And we understand that when you have power, money brings power. Okay? Professionalism brings power. We do not have that. How can we come up together? This is my plan, but it's subject to change. Let's discuss it in silence behind a closed door. But what we want to do, we want the cameras, bro. We on a podcast right now. We want the podcast. We want to tell everybody what we're doing. And some people, even your own people, cannot hear the plan because their mind can't process it. So right now it's gibbery. Now you've weakened us because now we back at a place like we was with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. We at a place that we disagreeing between these two brothers, and we're not saying, look, we need to come up with a plan to move us forward. But we'll talk about, I disagree with Martin Luther King on nonviolence. I agree with Malcolm X on violence. I agree with them. See, I'm not your brother. I'm not your partner because you like Martin Luther King. I don't like Martin Luther King. I like Malcolm X. And this and that, this and that. That's where we at, bro. So as a person a person like me, I'm looking at this ain't nothing but a circus. But see what happened, like you said, Justin, earlier, FD and Perk and your granddad didn't have egos. See, we'll get up there and say, hey, this is what I came up with. I feel this. If you don't understand what I'm doing, if you don't agree with it, don't worry, don't follow me. It's just like Sway told Kanye West a long time ago, man, take a step back, do it yourself. And he told him, you ain't got all the answers. See, right there, we have to be ready to listen to sound counsel, to wisdom. We ain't Perk. I ain't got all the answers. You ain't got all the answers, but we ain't got no egos, bro. But what we do, we put our faith in a bunch of celebrities, rappers, athletes who got egos and had egos since they've been in their profession. And we say, y'all the leaders of our community. Y'all come up with the plan. No, go back to how FD Reese now did it. The athletes and the actors and stuff invested into the movement. They were quiet because at the end of the day, we need your money. We needed to fund the movement. But don't y'all get on TV and talk reckless. We got you.
Well, what we all as a community, you absolutely right, Reese. You're absolutely right. How to correct us, in-house. That's important, even how I run my, you don't correct your wife in public on certain things. Some stuff, you do that at the house. We have to operate like that as a community. That's something to be learned from what the Jews doing. And see because what ends up happening is, he ends up having to walk it back because the Jay-Z's and the Oprahs and the Tyler Perry's and us in mass didn't support him. We didn't stand with him, and we nitpicked and found ways to gossip. You see what I'm saying? And that waters the movement down, momentum down more so than anything, because now you have a person that's out there in the front. They discombobulated. They got to walk it back. because they out there by themselves getting whooped. They
But,
out there
bro,
by
but hold on, bro. You can ask your granddad. Both our grandfathers gone. I ain't never heard them something that they write about that they gonna walk back. I told you this on the phone the other day. Bro, even I ain't never heard them.
You should.
They were right.
No, you don't apologize for telling the truth.
Huh?
You don't never apologize for telling the truth.
I ain't never heard it. And now what I have heard is like, I'll never forget when back in the day when Ebenezer was finna get a new sound system. We was on vacation. And granddaddy, he was asking questions. He asked my T Valerie, we in the van, we riding, we were going to Miami. He was like, man, we thinking about upgrading our sound system. You know, Valerie, I know this is your area. What do you think? See, sound a wise man, before he speak and do, he gonna go get the answers. Or he gonna ask questions. A foolish man will go out there on a whim, bro. A foolish man will go on the whim and just expect people to stand with him. They not.
And I'll say this. I agree with you, Perk. I think the problem is it's a different time now. And so, because I can guarantee you, a lot of the people when Reverend Reese and your granddaddy and Martin Luther King was out there, I guarantee you, was a lot of people out there talking about it.
Oh yeah,
our people.
They didn't want to go.
Guarantee it was our people talking about it.
Yeah, everybody didn't want to go.
But I think the difference now is if you have a position and you have so much influence, like King did, that's why Granddaddy called King, because he said, we got the plan, we just need the cameras. So they advised the plan first, then got the cameras. And I think that's the only thing I disagree with Ye, because if he would have, because he's right, but you're gonna have to walk it back when you know that a big chunk of your pretty much existence monetarily is in their hands. So you're gonna have to go get the power and the plan, then get the cameras. And it's just breaking news just came out that Kanye is suspended for 5 games. I mean, not Kanye, Kyrie suspended for 5 games. Just came through my phone. Wow. And so you can be right, but you got to have a strategic plan to come if you know that your powers are bigger than the numbers.
You got to, man, at the end of the day, you got to know what fight you are called to have in what season. Look, man, we expect, think about it, the same people, the white supremacy, we expect the same people who put us in this situation to have a change of heart, to change it for us. We got to work on home first. The fight is accountability to self first, to build strength. You can't depend, we're not going to depend on voting. You're not going to depend on lobbyists. You're not going to depend on people changing their hearts to change the Black community. But guess what we do, bro? I'm going to give you one. We'll talk about what Ye said. He stuck his neck out there. He said what he said. We'll talk about that and say he right what he said about the Jews on the record labels. And they use the record labels to put out things against the Black community, the rappers killing each other and stuff.
You're right, bro.
And so he right about it, but then turn around, get in our car on Apple Music and stream the music and make them more money. Right. What I'm saying, when are we gonna say to ourselves as a Black community and say, look, we're gonna stop listening to gangster rap?
Right.
Because what gangster rap says to our community, we got to stop giving them a product that they're making a return on.
That's why when Kanye said slavery was a choice, he was right if you put it in the context. Because you're speaking to slavery right now. And
he said, this what Kanye West said. He said 400 years. That sounds like a choice to me.
Right.
He playing Monday morning quarterback again, Justin.
Yeah.
Now, in today's time, yes.
Right.
But 400 years, bro. You go to your mansion.
And you're right. And go ahead, bro.
I agree with I agree, slavery is a choice now, but I don't see cats jump. Like I said earlier, I don't see cats when they supervisor doing something, leaving their job. They agree with Ye all day, but they still go to the same job that they give them hell at. What I'm saying is, see, and I told you this, I don't utter out my mouth about slavery, the ones that jumped ship and the ones that stayed. I can't talk about neither one of them. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the ones who jumped ship, and I appreciate the ones who stayed. Because guess what? I can sit right here and say, you know what? I probably would have just said, well, let me ride out and see what's gonna happen. It's easy to say I would have jumped ship. It sound good.
Well,
But-
let me ask one question then. I guess both of y'all can chime in. If when he did say that, and the context he said, yeah, what can we say when he had to walk it back? Is that a choice for him, or did you think that he was, his back was against the wall, and now I really don't have a choice? Because those are contracts he signed. So in your opinion, what does that mean? If he's saying 400 years, that sounds like a choice to me. Well, did you just do the same thing that you criticized?
I think that the word has been redefined. Freedom, slavery, doesn't mean the same thing today as it did, then.
Okay.
I also think that when you put into context the 400 years, Reese, you're absolutely right. You can't criticize those that stayed and those that jumped ship because we weren't necessarily there. But you're forgetting another group of people. You're forgetting the group of people that sold us out even then from Africa. See, some of us were sold out from our own.
That's true.
Everybody didn't get tricked, or beat and chained.
Yeah, because some people thought they were going to the new world.
People thought some people got sold a dream.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with that.
Some people got bought. And so
already over here.
yeah. So the tactics are not new.
Right.
The word itself is new today. And I think that what Kanye is trying to do is redefine what we focus our attention to when we talk about being oppressed and slavery. Let
me ask you this, Perk. So, in your opinion, then we'll move on to the next. In your opinion, what should be the next step? Because let's be honest, whether you agree or disagree with Ye in his actions, he's right. Now he done put it out on the mass. I think a lot of us knew that there were certain powers and controls over the media, over masses. We knew that. Now that he done put it out there, for the people that didn't know, he done showed you the picture. In your opinion, what do you think we need to do to fix or to move in a better direction as a community?
I'm gonna say this: all of those movements that we get pitched, Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, LBGT, all of those things, they've been whitewashed and they've been used as distractions for to divide and conquer our community. Instead of us getting together and focusing on the Black agenda, period. Don't matter if you're LBGTQ or it don't matter if you Black first.
That's right.
See, we getting distracted and getting caught up on all these little sidebar agendas that they throw out in our community. And if we feel like we advocate for Black folks, you just playing right into the hand of the man.
Mm-hmm.
And until we are able to collectively organize and focus on protecting, promoting, and preserving our own, we'll always be chasing our tail as a community. I think that it's important for us to revisit and rebuild those underground communication networks that we had as a community, and we still have as a community. We just don't use them like we did when we had to. But that's why we got HBCUs, because we couldn't go to their school. That's why you got black fraternities and sororities that were even founded at PWI at white universities. My fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, was founded at a white university. Why? Because we needed a way to communicate and move within that arena. We got to get back to creating our own sources of communication and organizing within our community, and then more importantly, we have to pool our resources and collectively use our resources for the betterment and the protection and preservation of our overall community. And that's going to take a lot of, like you said, taking the egos out of it. Even in Selma right now, you got a black mayor, a majority black council, a black city council president, and they fight the mayor on tooth and nails. You can't get a trash can set out on the side of the road without them fighting. But what the Jews are showing us, that it actually it's good enough reason to support the mayor, if for no other reason, just because he's black alone. That's what the Jews showing us. See, you don't have to like him. You don't have to agree with him. But we're going to stand with an organized front, because that's what's going to preserve our collective community. Fact. We haven't gotten to that level of maturity yet as a community where we can sit our egos and personal agendas aside and say, you know what? Black folk need to stick together. And the problem is, when white people hear black folks say they need to stick together, they hear attack. They hear a threat. But we're not talking about doing anything to any other race. All we're talking about is organizing black folks. But see, the problem is that is the threat, because when we do that, we're unstoppable. You know, once we realize who we are as a people, we're unstoppable people, and they know that. You know,
that's true. Because we think about it, we 13 and a half, 14% of the population, but we're the biggest consumer. We have the dollars, we have the money. Where do we put it? That's the question. See, when I'm telling you, y'all, coming out of the civil rights movement, in the people they allow for us to vote for on the national level mess black people up, because they begin to have the mindset of the American people. See, everyone else works for their own people. The Asians get into office, they work for the Asians. Jews work for themselves, the Jews. The white man works for the white man. But they told the black man and woman, you work for the American people. Inclusion. What it's supposed to be is that you work for your people. And because you're representing your people, we're representing our people. Now all of us collectively is the American people. And see, we lost that on a federal level because we start voting in wussies and people who weak. And they want to allow the people who had a strong voice to go in office because they were too strong. I'm talking about on the federal level. Then they start talking about the LGBTQ community and this community to continue to weaken because we start funneling in those communities. But if black people say that I am voting and I am moving on everything that helps the black man and black woman first, that's who's gonna get my vote. And when those people see, one thing about it, we got to know our power. The House votes on every 2 years. Every 2 years. If you get in there and you go in there and you vote on everything that does not have to do for the better good of black people, we voting right out.
Get them out of there.
Up out of there. I don't care. There's no way anybody should sit in office for 30-some years and die in the seat. But that's what we do. That's what we do, bro.
So let me
change our mindset. We got to change our mindset, bro. We do. And that's why I'm saying this fight, we have so many other things to fight about, to build some type of foundation. We as a people right now can't go against the record labels and what we consider the Jews or whatnot. We not together, bro. And my thing, this is what discourages me. We are not together. We just gossiping. We gossiping. We got to stop gossiping. It's just like Selma, Alabama. Selma, Alabama, like you said, got a black mayor, and the majority is black council.
Yep.
And we always gridlock because black folks don't have a mindset like the Republican Party. Now, one thing I can agree with the Republican Party, and I don't like too many of them, but I can say they play to win. Black people don't play to win. We just play to be in the game and exist. We don't play to win, bro. And we got to change that. So I don't want to hear about ye. I want to hear about what black people doing to build some type of foundation out of concrete that we can sit here when somebody speak about us like that we ain't got to go to the polls or nothing because we got power professionally and monetary that they exile, folks. Now that's power. If you ain't talking about that, we ain't talking about nothing. I ain't gossiping about all that other stuff, even though I know the truth.
Yep. Because we'll get together and counsel Kanye, but we'll be quiet about Brett Favre.
Yeah.
When he taking advantage of black folk and under income communities, we'll get up there and try to counsel Kyrie, but we won't stop supporting, the NBA when them owners sending them racist emails and all them other
stuff. I'll forgive them because we want to be entertained, man. We some of the most. That's why I understand. They always say we savages, man. Black people are some of the most forgiving people you will meet.
Oh yeah.
And that's our Achilles heel.
Giving and forgiving. Yep.
That's our Achilles heel sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta say, nah, you did it, and I don't want to talk to you right now no more.
Yep.
They need to be exiled, folks. Y'all see them up, don't care. Look at the Asian Americans. Look what happened when them Asians got 8 of them got they got beat up. President did what? Signed an Asian crime bill. But we didn't got killed left and right. Still don't have a black hate crime bill. Everyone can tap into the civil rights hate crime bill. Right. But we're talking about a black hate crime bill. We still ain't got it. All the nonsense black people that got hung, lynched, fed to alligators, did everything that happened to black folks in America. We still don't have a black hate crime bill, but 8 Asians can get beat up and they get one. Black folks got to change your mindset.
Preacher Reese, I'm gonna tell you something. We got to practice in the little things in our communities. We got to start being able to be coachable and corrected, and like that just go come back to the music too. With the children and everything. What we feed in ourselves is important. Anybody that know me, they know I'm an old school lover. I love all kinds of music. I love all types of music. But you ain't gonna get in my car and be playing no garbage, because that makes me feel like garbage. And we don't understand this, the revolving door of it all. Rest in peace to Takeoff, but another rapper murdered.
And see that what I was gonna ask you, Perk. I was gonna ask both of y'all, because we're going to Takeoff. What is in the black community, because this show is called Combination Lock. What codes do we need to let go? If you can name your top 2, 3, 4, 5, what codes do we have in our community? Because you segued right into it. Do we have in our community that we need to let go of to put us forward?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Perk.
Well, that's a loaded question, but I think that it starts with one understanding. It's funny because I was watching Planet of the Apes the other day, and one of the codes is 8 don't kill 8. And one of the things that Caesar wrestled with, even when they were starting to turn on him, 8 don't kill other apes. And that's an ironic analogy to use, but black people got to get to the point where we see each other and we see ourselves, and we say, you know what, I may not like you, we might disagree, but I'm not gonna kill you. Right. We got to stop killing each other. And then, 2, I wish that if it, in the event of confrontation, I wish we just got back to fight. And stop shooting each other, and cowardly driving by, and then you know, we got folks out here killing elderly people and all that. There's a lot of cowardness. There's a lot of cowardness in our community, and we got to be able to get back to the basics. You know, we can fight today. Some of my best friends, some of the best relationships I have to this day are people that I knuckled up with as a kid growing up, because things gonna come out of it. You know, either y'all gonna keep going at it until one of y'all get tired, or y'all gonna walk away from that with a mutual respect and understanding for each other as men. Because when I hit you and you bleed, and you hit me and I bleed, we see that we both bleed the same. You look just like I do. You know, I'm taking all this frustration out on you. I'm taking it out on myself. And so that was some of the codes that I would like to see us get back to as a collective community, man. Protecting the children, raising the children, you know, doing the things necessary for the next generation, because we're not gonna always be here. And we have to be able to pass the baton on to the next generation for them to be able to continue to fight. But we have to. I just want us to collectively start paying more attention to the undertones and the traps and the things that are out there set up for us, like the music industry, like the apparel industry. That's why see, it's okay to wear your own clothes and be cool. You know, you don't have to wear all those brands, all those names. I got name brand stuff, but that don't define me. You know, and we got to get away from the superficial stuff that they use to lull our community to sleep.
That's true.
What you think, bro? What codes you think we need to let go?
Man, I can go down the list about 100 of them. I'm gonna pick it back on Perry, like he said. We used to fight, man. We come up in a generation. Matter of fact, I went to school with these people. Crime Mob went elementary all the way through high school. Knuckle Buck was one of their biggest hits. Well, we come from a generation where we fought. You know what I'm saying? But look at the music. Now the music talking about killing, man. So I've come to understand. I'm not listening to no more gangster rap.
That's right.
I'm not listening to none else that's promoting killing. I don't care how the beat sound, because I'm a producer. I love music. I play the piano. I love music. You know what I'm saying? And I love well-produced production. But I got to say that I can say I'm some of the problem if I can continue to listen to it. So I'm going to start with myself. And I ask all our listeners, from this day forward, stop streaming gangster rap music that's promoting killing black on black people. Let's start with baby steps. Let's start there first.
Yeah.
I can go back to parenting, start parenting our kids and holding kids accountable, holding men accountable on being men of their family, holding women accountable to be able to listen to a man, and men listen to women. Y'all raise these kids together in one home. I can go back to say we need to start back promoting marriage in the home. It's a lot of things that black people, that other races got from us. They implemented in their own homes that we've gotten away from, that was just our natural culture.
Exactly.
That's just what it is. We have to get back to that and stop calling stuff old school, because old school sound like it's just past time. Call it classic.
Yeah, you know, I've been saying that.
You don't hear anybody calling old school country music, old school blues, old school. No, it's we as black people always call our love making music in the music that used to talk about love old school. Well, if the kids keep hearing somebody's old school, they ain't gonna like it. Start calling it our classic R&B, our loving R&B. Stop listening to this gangster stuff. And I want to say something about the Migos. God rest, take off soul.
Absolutely.
Right now, in the name of Yahweh, shall I speak to his family, that you comfort them. But what I can say is this: those young men came from middle-class homes. Nowadays, you got kids come from how we were raised in middle-class homes, wanting to be gangster because they like what the music is saying and they like what the rappers got on. You said the clothes, the Gucci, the Louis Vuitton, the Yeezys, all them. They want to wear those things because they feel like they best rapper and the person they love have it on. We as a people got to stop letting our kids listen to that mess. And as a parent, we got to look in the mirror, like Mike said, and look at ourselves. So
Absolutely.
me, Alan Reese, I ain't listening to it no more.
Mm.
I'm not, bro. I'm not. You ain't gonna hear my car, my Challenger, whatever you see me in. You will not hear gangster rap anymore because it's
Bless,
destructive, man.
bless it. I think that's astronomical, and I think the impact will be grave for our community. Just that single piece alone, because you know when did you see the Breakfast Club interview where they were interviewing the CEO of the music label out there?
I saw
And,
that.
and
I
they
saw
asked,
that.
Somebody
they
got
asked,
to feed his family.
why do you keep signing these people? Why do y'all keep putting them out there? And his answer was, I got mouths to feed. They don't care nothing about
They
our
don't
people.
care about us. But Justin,
we doing just what they want us to do.
Justin, you're an entrepreneur. You know the value of returns. Think about it. My wife just did she talked about diabetes. If y'all own a grocery store and let's say Debbie Cakes, we know the sugar gives you diabetes. And we go around the community and say, stop eating the sweets, stop eating the Debbie Cakes. Then we go to the owner and give a breakdown. Look, this is what these Debbie Cakes doing. They killing our people. They getting the limbs chopped off. We giving them a whole rundown. But every time that owner go back to that shelf and them Debbie Cakes gone, what he gonna do when he do his when he audit or do
He gonna do the Debbie Cake.
he gonna buy them Debbie Cakes. That same thing I'm saying with gangster rap. We got to stop giving these folks a return on their product, bro. And that's the only way they're gonna listen to us because money talk, BS walk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Once you know, like you said, we the greatest consumer body in the nation. And if we leverage that, you know, we can really see the results that we barking about, you know, and that we preaching about. We can really see that if we leverage that. And you know, what that looks like, I really don't know, you know, in terms of organizing the black dollar. You know, it's been done before though. You know, we've had Black Wall Street and Greenwood and Greenwood and these places before, you know, where the black dollar circulated. And I think it could be, you know, it could be recreated again. And then, you know, the places that do have them now, we got to support them. You know, we got to spend our dollar with each other until we can leverage that and turn that corner. Because like you, and it's just like that. And like you said, back to that music again, it's a revolving door. That's why they get you know, they're gonna get that little. It's easy to get that gullible young kid, single parent home or no parent home, and offer him $100,000, offer him $1 million to make that. He's gonna make whatever you tell him to make, because the kid he's a product of the same pipeline.
That's right.
He's a product of the same pipeline. And then guess what happens? He's making the music. He goes out and unfortunately loses his life in the manner of the same music of which he created. And all they do is fill a gap with another one to carry out the same message. And we look at it as, okay, we lost one rapper, but that one rapper influenced millions of people. That one person influenced millions of people. And so we just got to be mindful, man, of controlling that which we can control, Reese. And I think that music is a good place to start, man. I really do. And I've always felt that way.
Bro, I said this in a text message with my brother and the other day. And I believe this. I said black people have to remove ourselves from these conversations, these gossiping conversations. I said these conversations, and build some type of alliance within our blackness to create true power. I said, because we can't continue to expect the racist white man and the Jews and everyone else to have our best interests if they are making money and building generational wealth off our dysfunction. They're building generational wealth off our dysfunction. So what we need to do, fix the dysfunction in our community. Once we fix the dysfunction, the gangster rapping, the single parent home, the promotion of not being married,
Mhm.
not raising your kids, allowing the TV and the radio to raise your kids, the dysfunction in our community, going to church and don't want a sustainable word. You just want to be entertained with your flesh.
Mhm.
Those things are dysfunctions in our community that needs to be fixed. Once
Yeah,
we fix those things,
right.
then we
Mhm.
have some type of power.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah. Go ahead. I'm just read it. I say the management bless, multiply, and abundance. In abundance, I said. I just got to read a few of these comments. Good evening, chat. National corporate. We appreciate y'all joining in. Tristan, AOC, they just suspended Kyrie without pay. I mentioned that.
that's another example, though, man. That Kyrie is another example, man, of how they just gonna make an example out of one. See, they you know, Kunta Kinte, he knew what his name was, but they beat him till he said Toby.
Mhm.
They gonna whoop you till I know that ain't my name, but you're whipping me. You're whipping me. No
And
more.
one thing I will say, y'all, both of y'all, 100% right, man. They making money off our dysfunction and with the music, with the with everything. And I will say, you see it's right before our eyes, man, because when the candidates come up, they want to sit down with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion and everything, and it didn't used to be like that, man. Because they know they sit down with the person that they think has the most influence. So even if you look at everything that's going on, they're tapping into the music industry because they know that's the most influence. Hillary Clinton and Chelsea sitting down with Megan Thee Stallion. Like what are we talking about? And then another thing I would say, the dysfunction, like you say, they promote single parent homes. Oh, they promote single parent homes. If he come back, I'll put him back on. And the court system, man, they like us to be at odds. So I'm all the way with it, man. And I think if we started with the music, I think if we start there, I think that's something we can that's something where we can start it, and that's something that's reachable because it don't take a lot of monetary value to do
That's
that.
right.
It just takes some discipline.
So what I'm gonna start saying, my saying of you can't be about the black community if you're not about the black family first. I always say that. So now my slogan gonna say, you can't be about bettering black people if you still listening and streaming gangster rap.
That's right.
You cannot expect for our children to stop killing each other and stop acting reckless off their emotions. If one, because I believe it's two aspects to that. I think it's parenting first. Parenting has a lot to do with. I tell people all the time. You know how they come up with what is the leading killing disease in the black community? They always say diabetes or heart attacks or strokes or cancer. I feel for young people, one of the leading reasons why young people die and fall from the wayside is because of parenting. Lack of parenting on both sides. Because you could be good parents, but your child who was doing pretty good could meet up with a knucklehead who killed your child. So now we done lost two. The one who lived by the gangster rap, then killed the one who been in an upstanding home where one dead and one in jail. You get what I'm saying? So parenting is one, but then music and those things that, because let's be honest, y'all, the TV has always had some type of influence in the radio on all of us. When we was coming up, Family Matters, Parenthood, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, those television shows had great values for black families. It was always a teaching point. Now what you got? The Cosby Show was good for us. Now what do you have?
You got
real kids seeing the evidence of
love and hip hop.
Love and hip hop.
Unreality TV.
Yeah, right.
Unreality TV.
Unreality TV, exactly.
Bro.
Exactly.
So those things we got to stop. We got to stop allowing our kids, and we got to stop watching those things. Once again, they get a return. Love and Hip Hop and Atlanta Housewives, some of the top reality TV series. We watch it. We be all in it. As a people, we got to stop. How can we expect these people to change what they put on TV if we continue to give them a return on their dollar? Because look, that almighty dollar, y'all, that thing carries some power.
Mm-hmm.
It carries
Man, that's powerful what you just said, Reese. I'm gonna point to another avenue because someone said to me, in an attempt to, we were talking about the same situation with Kanye, and what they said to me, oh, he mentally ill. Oh, he just mentally ill. Discredit everything he's saying. He mentally ill, and I want us to be careful how we become desensitized to the oppression that we all withstand and live under. And then too, mental illness is very real.
Oh, it's very weird.
But I'm gonna show you how we all had that person walking around the community that everybody said was crazy. But if you talk to them, got good sense, good, I'm talking about good wisdom, know what's going on, understand what's going on. And then the second point I want to make about us throwing out that mental illness is that we all suffer from mental illness if you're Black in America. Now, whether you're not desensitized to it or not, we all deal with the anxieties and frustrations and the mental illnesses of just being Black in this country. And now, what you mean by that, Per? Well, when you get pulled over and them blue lights hit you, don't you feel a little anxiety?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. When you walk into that job interview and you don't see no face that looks like yours on it, don't that kind of mess with your mental a little bit? You kind of question it a little bit. It's a lot of different facets that we all have to be mindful of. And so I want us to be careful about writing off people who share knowledge and insight from their experience and saying, just because it may be a little radical, oh, they mentally ill. No, hear what they're saying, and don't miss the message. Looking at the man.
I just think with Kanye West, before he speaks, man, and people could say I'm wrong for this. I think Kanye has an ego that needs to be checked. I think when you're a leader and you're trying to lead people, you got to have some type of mannerism about yourself and know how to move and when to move. You know what I'm saying? And that's very important, when to move, when to speak, when not to speak, and how you speak. And I think that Kanye West has to understand, a man with wisdom will understand that some shows I can't go on and give you my jewels that the Most High God has given me. It's only certain places that I can share this with. And I think we as a Black community, that has always hurt us. Sometimes we give away too much, bro, in front of the cameras, man. We give away too much. And we have to learn, the best thing that I can do is when I have some, what I did when I talked to you about something that I wanted to do, it didn't pan out like I wanted to, what I do? Close doors, brother. This now I can't talk to you on the phone about. We got to be face to face. We got to be in the area that no one knows us and no one can hear us. See, that's very important when you're trying to start something powerful, man. That's very important. And we have to use wisdom when we do that, man. We really do.
Absolutely. I think all these contributions are necessary building blocks, Reese. And your approach gonna be different than Kanye's approach. Just like Nat Turner approach is different from FD Reese approach.
That's true.
But they all are necessities of the struggle and building blocks, man. And sometimes it's the conjunction that we miss. Sometimes we get caught up on the or when the conjunction should be and. See, we need everybody. We need both. We need that radical because it's based on your experiences. And Kanye I can't say if it's ego or not. That's not my place to be able to define what his behavior is. But what I do know is he's probably sat in some rooms and talked to some Jews and talked to some executives and experienced some things, that I haven't. and that provide him with a different perspective, and also provide him with a different passion, a different pain than I may have, because I didn't experience it as direct. That's the same with us. Our passion for the struggle is different because of our pipeline, you know, and our experiences. And so it's you know, some people will say, oh, he just say that because he that Reverend Reese son. That just like saying, oh, Perk just saying that because he Perkin. Well, no, yeah, you're right. And my experiences have been different.
That's true.
My experiences have been different that provide me this perspective. So, you know, I think the conversations that we're having is important. It's really important. And
can I interject a little bit? I
Yeah.
100% agree with you. The only, and you know, I got to push back a little bit, but it's all good. The only thing that kind of gets me, like my brother said, sometimes you got to know how to you got to move a certain way. So it's kind of like they're gonna check your track record, right? So with me, with Ye, like I done defended Ye before all of this. I done been in rooms where I've been the only man, you know, defending them. At the same time, I got to look at substantial and concrete. So I go back and I see the shift. It went from, this just me on the outside looking in. I could be wrong. It went from the George Bush don't care about black people. And when he get on, he gonna leave for a white girl. You look at all of that, right? And then it's a total shift. Then it went to everything that's getting done against me. Every time I've seen, this is me, every time I've seen Ye in front of a camera, it's more of what I am fighting and not trying to, even the Donald Trump thing. The Donald Trump, the slavery was a choice. And to me, it's like, okay, is it, because even it came out, even when he went to meet with Donald Trump, he wanted the picture. He didn't want to talk to Trump. So it's like, do you want to do something substantial? Because I'm with him. He 100% right. But I'm the type of guy, I look at your actions instead of your words. I got to look at your actions. I can't just sit there and say, because he's saying some things that I've heard people previously say. It's just he's Ye. He has a bigger platform, a bigger influence. But you're right. All of that is necessary. But I think because he says stuff like, I am the new Moses. I am the new Michael Jackson. I am the new this. Well, you just can't say it. You got to put some action behind it. Yeah. And so, and I just think the action ain't lining up with what he, with kind of like what he preaching. Now, like I said, I done been in rooms where I had to, because Jesus walks one of the most. It took the one. He was the hottest artist at that time, and you come on, dog. Like you can't look over that. And I said he's a musical genius, but at the same time, like bro said a little minute ago, our artists weren't the leaders. Harry Belafonte wasn't the leader. We looked at them for you know to be involved in it, but we understood who the leaders was, and so that's the only thing. That's the only disagreement I have with Ye. But if everything he's saying and standing on, he's right. But you also gotta. We can't just say he right, so avoid everything else that's in our face. We can't do that. We got to say, just like you said, we got to be able to pull your coattail. Yeah. And I think that's just me pulling his coattail. The man is 100% right. Yeah. But then if I look at everything, the pictorial image, and if I look at everything, then you can't, a lot of people can't be blamed when you say, well, he throw it off a little bit.
Well, you can be right and not be effective. And that's what I'm hearing y'all say.
Right.
And that's very well true. You can be right and then you can be stagnant in your right, you know, and and we had to figure out how to mobilize, But you think about it, man. And I'll just, since you spit a few bars, I'll allude to some too that some of my favorite is we buy our way out of jail, but we can't buy freedom. We buy a lot of clothes, but we don't really need them. Things we try to cover up what's inside because they make us hate ourselves and love their wealth. And you think about it, he's always had that type of radical to his message. But I also agree we have to figure out how not to just be right, but how to also be effective.
But Perk, I'm gonna say this. You're right. But then look at what he does. Some things are contradictory to what he's rapping about. You can't look over it.
Yeah.
You say that, but then it's Balenciaga this. Every time you bragging how you just bought your girlfriend a $40,000, $50,000 purse, and it's Balenciaga this, and then so you're saying one thing, and then you fast forward, and your actions are contradictory.
This is why Malcolm X told us about the athlete and the entertainer. You know what I'm saying? They puppets, man. And see, we're sitting here talking about. I can agree with Tupac when he said, "Each one teach one." You know what I'm saying? We got to go, us, because they move with the times. You just explained, like I said, Kanye West is a musical genius.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't take it away from him. He's in the GOAT conversation when it comes to music.
Facts.
Hands down. But like you said, his mind sometimes is both sides. Well, we don't need that when we're trying to build something sustainable for us as a community. What conversation are we going to get? We are stuck on Ye and what's happened to Ye, and we're not talking about what we're going to do. We're still giving the Democratic Party billions of dollars every 2 or 4 years, and we can't even get a black crime bill. What I'm saying, these are the things. What is going to move black people forward? You know what I'm saying? That's what we need to be talking about. But it's something always comes at a distraction. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, this is not this is a needed conversation. Don't get me wrong. This happened for a reason. But now it's time to move the ship at how they just exiled Kanye West. How can black people build that type of power?
Because you know what? It could be that Kanye West was supposed to expose it in a mass, in a like everybody have different jobs, right? I think he may have been the sacrificial lamb to expose it on a more national level.
Exactly.
But he may not have he got resources, but he may not have the total resources to be able to make change. But sometimes it need to be exposed. That's why Granddad invited King. King gonna bring the cameras. We exposed it. Now what we gonna do about it? We all know he was right. We all know that. But maybe he was the sacrificial lamb to expose it. Maybe he's not the person that needs to be in the front to move it to the next level.
I think the conversation goes to what we're gonna do about it.
Right.
So see, but let me tell you, but see, this is what happens when we continue to talk about. So it's just like when Kaepernick kneeled. We stay on so much on him kneeling,
right,
and not listening and trying to bring about change in the community. We continue to talk about him kneeling every game. We planted Black Lives Matter in front of the White House. We got these voting signs that say Black Lives Matter, but did not bring no type of structural change.
Right.
You see, we're gonna let this happen again. We're gonna stay on Kanye West and Kyrie Irving about what they said and what them folks doing to them, just like they did when Kaepernick was kneeling, and not move the boat to say, okay, what they said, they're right. Okay, boom. What we gonna do as black people to build power? Right. How we gonna hold our billionaires accountable and say, look, man, Y'all just can't keep doing these shows and doing what they tell y'all. Got money now,
Right.
some serious money. We
Right.
got really how technology is. We have streaming. Create your own distribution company, and we'll stream your shows with the internet.
Mhm.
We don't have to worry about Xfinity and AT&T keeping us out the loop
Mhm.
because the streaming is so strong. People barely watch cable TV.
Mhm.
So we have the means, bro, to change the landscape of what's going on. But what we're gonna do as black people is stay on Ye and Kyrie Irving and how they doing them. We got to move from that and say, how we gonna build, bro? Since we got everybody's attention, let's not fight these Jews. Let's build our platform and our structure up to be powerful. So when we say something, they'll pass a bill just like that.
Mhm.
Oh, that person fired and he exiled financially just like that when they say something about black folks.
See, what they'll do is they give us an agenda to distract us, and that's what that go back to what I said earlier. They'll throw out, and this is not a bash to like the LBGT or even the Black Lives Matter movement or nothing like that. They throw those little bones out there to our community, and then our people think that they've done something for black folks.
That's right.
Right.
But black people still suffering the same oppressions.
Same
And
way.
now you got gay rights, but what about black gay folks? What about the folks that's black first, then gay? You know,
That's
and,
right. They feel like a sign did it. Mitch McConnell said he felt like reparation was Barack Obama become president.
no,
See, that's what I'm saying. We ain't got, bruh. We don't have no type of platform, really. Yeah, we got a voice, but I'm talking about do you hear the Asian community speak? Do you hear people hold signs up for the Asian community? No. They got a real voice because they got money. And they use their money as their power. Look at the Jews. They use their money, regardless if you want to go to Deuteronomy or not in the word of God. It don't matter. But they use their money as power. But what we're going to do, we're going to stay on Kanye West now and not say, let's use our money. They keep telling us we're the biggest consumer. We got the money.
Mm-hmm.
right.
When we going to move the conversation over, bro? And be quiet about this conversation and say, man, if we're not talking about black empowerment, real empowerment, we ain't talking. Ain't talking about no signs, ain't talking about no streets, ain't talking about nobody saying Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was just a distraction, bro. What true change came from it? Yeah, I said it. What true change, what laws came from Black Lives Matter? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
What accountability came from it? Nothing. What police reform came from it? Nothing. What the change of jury duty came from it? Nothing to convict these cops. Nothing. So Black Lives Matter did nothing.
Right. Because it was whitewashed from the beginning. It was given to us by them. It's just something, like I said, it was just passion. It was whitewashed from the jump. We just fell for it.
We fell for it. And we finna fall for it. Next week, we still gonna be talking about the same thing. And we're not building nothing that will structurally give us power in the future. Come on, man. Come on. Why? Another player gonna say something else and they're gonna get suspended. And then we're gonna talk about that. Then otherwise gonna die down and we're gonna forget what Ye said.
The most profound response that I heard to Kanye was from Young Thug. And what Young Thug said was, look, I see what you're doing. I got 100 acres that you can have for free. And build and grow. And that's what, but he was the only person that I saw do that, and he locked up.
But listen, Justin, this is why I say it is just it's a game. Because guess what? He could have been done that.
Well, he didn't know. See, you can't say if he could because
I think, to be honest, y'all, I think they say Ye is
doing it. He actually doing it. I think he got like 300 acres that he working with.
Yeah. See what I'm saying is this: when you build, then you can sit there and say what you feel like, what is right, without you walking your words back. Because when you walk your words back, it makes you weak.
See, he shouldn't have walked them back, but he had to do what he did to prove a point, because all they did was exactly what he said they were gonna do, and show that he didn't have the platform or the power to do what he was saying. All they did was prove him right. And when he walked it back, it watered everything down. He shouldn't have done that. But at the end of the day, it still don't, like you said, don't negate what he said and what he did.
I think walking it back though, I think that because I think he's the sacrificial lamb. I think that it really didn't matter. He exposed them. It was out then.
It was already done.
But whether he walked it back or not, I think he did his job, to be honest. Just to be honest. But I think it's gonna take somebody else or collectively people to take us to the next level, and what we gonna do about it. Let me read this. And the stage say, I agree that we all have a role. Kanye saying what he said brought it to the forefront, and Kyrie. It's on a national level. Absolutely. Now we stay on code and stick to our guns and support. Use our money as power.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. And like I said, y'all. So what we gonna do? But we ain't gonna say what we're gonna do on here.
Yeah.
Because
but it's a start. What we said, what we have to do is we got to do the little nuggets. And one of the starts is stop listening, stop letting them
start listening gangster rap music.
We've already said several things that we could do if the people listening. We've already given several things that we can do start today in our own home.
Right.
You know, it ain't gonna take no big bang theory. It takes each person doing the little thing in their and in their community, and then it's spreading abroad.
I told you on the phone today, I said our forefathers has done a good job to create these platforms. We have the church, we have the fraternity, the frats.
Yeah.
We have the schools, the fraternities, all that already in place. All these conventions that the Black church have, the Southern Baptist Convention, the Culture Convention, every convention. We have the resources to get what we need through the pipeline in nuclear time, if we just use it. If we use it. Simple as that. We have it. We have it. It's no excuse. It's just everybody just come together. Each one teach one. And stop getting on these shows, on these podcasts, telling the plan.
Yeah.
We got to be able to do something without telling people what we're doing. They just got to see it. We ain't gonna have to say nothing. They'll see it. And then they'll latch on and say, okay, I see what they're doing. I'm finna do the same thing. But just like start getting their credit right and start getting businesses and stuff, guess what? They saw it. Let's do the same thing. We get a group of us, start doing it, show and get the church and everybody start getting together, get it done, and let the people see it. And watch it keep moving.
We got to recreate an underground railroad.
That's right.
We got to have our own underground railroad. The underground railroad wasn't just a pipeline that got that emancipated people off the plantation. It was the pipeline that communicated and networked.
That's right.
Got the word up and down. We use that as a so we and it kept the slave owners and the shares and the clan and anybody else was looking. It kept them from being able to sabotage the plan.
That's right.
We were able to communicate it underground, and that's just saying we can't get on these public platforms and give away the plan.
Can't.
Because
do this. That's all we gotta do. Shh. Be quiet. Hey man, be slow to speak. Look, anybody who want to get something done, stop getting on these platforms, because when you get on these platforms and you start talking and you just sharing so much, I ain't talking about your business, but I'm talking about when you want to move things forward, it seems like you just want to get credit and you are not about the cause. No, we're about the cause.
Needs to be exemplified that we see what is going on and use our power just the same. Use the exposure and push it forward to the next level. Penny Anderson said, don't fight each other, fight together for our power.
See, absolutely. See a good soldier wins the battle, but a great soldier wins the battle and learns from the opposition.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to take notes on
That's
how
fact.
to defeat. See, because we not just like you said, reason we disenfranchised, we are dysfunctioning. But it's something that's causing it. There's a cause to it, and we have to be able to look at what's happening to us and use that and apply that pressure to preserve and promote ourselves.
That's right.
And it's a lot to be learned from it. You know, it's a lot to be learned from it, from what's happening.
You as a soldier, you understood that, and sometimes that even in battle, it's some places that we're just not ready to go yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's some areas that we got to take over before we can go there. Because we go there right now, we're gonna lose. So we got to hit this spot, this spot, this spot. Then we can take that big buck over there.
Mm-hmm.
But what we'll try to do, we want to talk about the big buck and take the big buck when we weak. It's a marathon, man. It's not a sprint. And what we want overnight success. Right now, y'all, let's be honest. We got to say this. We won't see reparation in our best years. But that don't mean we stop fighting for it. We could probably see it in our 80s and 70s, but right now in our 30s, chances that we're not gonna see it. But guess what? That's okay.
You know,
Because we understand this fight is a marathon. We might not see this structure that we're talking about on this podcast be at its greatness. But the thing that we should be proud of, we should understand that we are part of the beginning. And know that our grandkids will have a structure that we could say, ain't nobody gonna mess with them because they on code.
to go back to, you know, I don't even know at this point, Reese, if I want reparation, because where they gonna come from? They're gonna come from the very people we trying to emancipate ourselves from.
That's true.
It's
still a dead old. That's all I know. A dead old is a dead old.
You know, I'll tell you, man, what reparation looks like for me and what freedom, just that utopia looks like for me, for our community, man, is just us having in every community our own, man, and not having to look for no reparation. We educate our own. We can protect our own. We feed we can feed ourselves. You know, we got to get back to agriculture, and once we can take care of the basic fundamental necessities, you know, we feeding and financing ourselves. That's the freedom. As long as we waiting for the reparation, or we waiting for, for something from them, then we still in bondage, because it's gonna come with a quid pro quo. It's gonna come with a, I do this for you, but it's a clause in there that that keeps you tied. That's gonna keep you tied.
Well, I don't think we should wait on it. I'm just saying you continue to talk noise about it because it's a dead old.
Oh yeah. You gotta rub it in your face, though.
I don't think you sit on the couch and say, well, I'm waiting on my reparation. No, you keep fighting for everything you just said. Financial freedom, agriculture, life freedom, all that. But then you still stay in their ear.
Yeah. Oh, you
put on their neck, bro. Because it's the truth. It's simple as that.
And I don't want 40 acres and a mule no more.
I can't whatever.
Mule today. That's all right. Nah,
y'all know we
stakes done went up.
Y'all know we done went way over. I knew this was gonna happen.
So much fun, man. We could do this, like the R&B song, for hours and hours. We could do this for hours.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, listen, man. We appreciate you coming on. Most definitely, man. Whenever you want to come back, just let us know.
Yeah,
man. I'm honored, man. We've talked about it for a while.
Yeah,
I'm honored that we can make it happen. God let us see this day where I can come and sit and share with y'all, and iron sharpening iron is what I feel when I talk to y'all, man. And that's why when you see the spars, people don't worry. No, that's iron sharpening iron. Ain't no friction, ain't no problem.
Right.
You need the spars, because that's how you know you got iron. Ain't nothing but iron in the room. And we get we get flustered. Oh, no,
Nah,
no,
nah,
no, no.
nah.
We're coming out sharper. We coming out
There you go.
stronger.
There you
And we
go.
come out better for it. And when we having these conversations, that's the space that we all need to be in. It's not about trying to be right or trying to be wrong or trying to.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's
That's right.
about us gaining understanding and understanding each other, and then seeking the way ahead. I really want for my people in Selma to take heed to what's happening on a national scale, and how we being used against each other, even in Selma, in those positions of leadership in Selma. And I really want Black people in Selma to start standing together and supporting Black people of leadership. And if for no other reason, or that he got no other reason that the mayor got experience and wisdom and knowledge and sound judgment and faith, if not for none of them other reasons, good reasons, just because he's Black,
Right.
and we got to stand together. And then when you disagree, we do that behind closed doors.
Man, hey, there you go, man.
Yeah.
We got to stop disagreeing in public, man. We got to.
That behind closed doors, but we stand together in the front, and that's my charge to us. That's my charge to Selma, and that's my charge to Black people in this country.
Yeah. That's right.
That's facts, man. We can end it on that, bro.
That's right.
Just real, man. We can end it on that. We appreciate everybody joining us. Appreciate our special guest. Now, and one thing I know a couple people on here, where they texting me. Yeah, that is him. That's on the Courageous 8 song. They Tell people text me, like, because you said Perk here, so I guess they put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah,
so yes, that is him on it. So y'all already know it's history, and that ain't the last one collaboration you gonna hear. I can guarantee you that.
Oh no, that ain't the first time we sung and stood together. It won't be the last.
Won't be the last.
That's right.
I'm just glad you ain't find that Messiah photo, because I got it.
Well, we got some stories behind that, but remember he had me laughing at Mr. What's his name? The singer. Man,
Every Valley, didn't it?
Yeah. Perk, I was looking down. You remember you tapped me. You know, I had made it in my mind that I wasn't gonna look up, because if I looked up, I was gonna laugh. You know, we always get in trouble for laughing. So this year, y'all, and I'll tell you, it was his fault. The dude got up and started singing, and I kept my head down. I said, I'm gonna make it through without laughing. Man, Perk gonna hit me on my side. I looked up, it was all over. It was all over. I was laughing, about to fall out of the seat. I said, if it weren't for Perk, man, I would have been straight. Boy, that boy right there.
Yeah, but that music, but that's another avenue that your grandfather used.
That's true.
To educate, emancipate our people.
That's true.
Singing the Messiah, Handel's Messiah, excerpts of Handel's Messiah down there. Man, but when Reverend Reese came through, he came through and showed us that not only can we do it, we can do it better.
Right. That's true.
Good, just better. And guess what started happening? They started coming over to join our Messiah.
That's right. So did.
They started coming over to sing with us.
Right.
And man, your grandfather a pioneer far ahead of his time, man. I was
that's true.
Be able to share years with him. One of the last conversations I had with my grandfather before he passed was about your grandfather, and that's the first time I ever seen my granddaddy shed a tear. But he was recanting the day that your grandfather came in and told them they were gonna march, and how afraid they were, and how many people really didn't want to do it. And so that just goes back to, so everybody not gonna necessarily want to go, but when you got a leader that's chosen, and you stand with them, you believe in them, and because as long as that leader is preaching unity together,
that's right,
we'll always be stronger. That's what Reverend Reese was able to do, even though people were afraid. He said, if all of us go, it wasn't nothing to be afraid of. And so, man, we could do that. I love y'all, man.
You know it's number love, dog. Yeah, we could do a whole nother show just talking about the correlations and the bloodline, man. The bloodline. So, all day. But I guess we gotta let the people go to sleep. We definitely need to do this again.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely.
We definitely do this again. Make sure everybody tapped in. I want to try to do some, man. We'll think about some. Maybe us three can do some like with Selma, where we can just get different people on to come in. All we gotta do is send the link. I know some of our wise, elderly, aunties, uncles, and granddads, and grandmothers, and all that. They might not be able to work it like this, but I think the people. What our job is, man, and before we go, I'll say this: what our job is to give the nation the behind the scenes insert and look of what actually went on. So when we start sharing stories like this, like what you just said, how the teachers were afraid and things of that nature, the nation don't. All they know is a bridge. Some people got beat on it, and that's it, bro. And I really think it's our job, because it's in here, it's in our veins to really, to be honest, to really tell the people. That's our charge, man, to really tell the people and tell the nation, hey, y'all think it was this. Let me let you know what went on behind that curtain.
We got receipts. So it's just the truth right here.
You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So man, y'all think about that, just and Perk, your bloodline is ridiculous.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? So it all ties, man. And so I think that's part of our job. So that's why I say we need to try to get some people on, make something happen, man, so it can be documented. Because I think that's a lot of the time that's where we go wrong. And just for us to get on here and to speak, it's documented. This gonna be, people gonna be able to look at this. So we don't want the story to be swept under the rug when we know the real, the real truth, the real deal.
That's right.
So
that's right. That's my cause.
Set that up, try to get some real Selma people on it and let them know what's really going on. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, man. Man, we got a whole nother segment. I want to talk about next time we get together. I want to talk about betrayal and how that's been a evil, existence amongst our people since the beginning of time.
Oh yes, sir.
Yeah,
and we can talk about that candidly.
Even your grandfather, and he stood in his righteousness, was betrayed, from within.
Yeah, that's right.
We have to get away from being able to be infiltrated by the outside.
Boy, that's strong one right there.
Yeah. I want to talk about that next time we get
together. Boy, I can't wait already.
But until next time, y'all, we appreciate y'all joining us. And see, this is our first time we're gonna have the guests on, and we ending this the closing credits with our guests still on. So y'all know what time it is. We appreciate y'all joining the Lineage Podcast. We will see y'all next time. Appreciate you, Perk.
Hey, appreciate y'all. Bless it.
Hey, don't hang up, Perk. I'll holler at you before you go.
Okay.